What truly makes someone precious with age? Have you ever wondered what really makes a person truly special as they get older? It's not money, it's not status, and it's definitely not just good luck. The truth is, after 65, there are certain qualities that can quietly transform you from someone ordinary into someone unforgettable. These are the kinds of traits that make others not just like you, but respect you, admire you, and feel better simply being around you. But here's the thing, most people don't even realize they have these qualities until they've started to fade away. They slip through our fingers quietly, without us even noticing how valuable they were. In this video, we're going to explore 6 powerful traits that don't just make you loved, but deeply valued. These traits have nothing to do with how you look, how much money you have, or what you've achieved. They have everything to do with how you think, how you show up in the world, and how you treat others. And here's the best part. You can cultivate these qualities at any stage of life. No matter where you live, what your background is, or what you've been through, these traits can still grow in you. And when they do, your very presence becomes something that lights up a room. Stay with me until the very end, because the last trait we'll talk about, it's something most people only realize when it's already too late. If you've ever felt like you're fading into the background, if you've ever asked yourself, who am I now? What is my place in this world? Then this video is for you. These 6 traits won't just help you stand out in a quiet, powerful way. They'll give you a kind of inner peace and fulfillment that no amount of wealth can replace. Before we jump in, a quick reminder, if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any future videos. And hey, if you enjoy this video, type 1 in the comments. If not, type 0, so I can keep improving and creating better content for you. Ready? Let's dive in. 1. The steady calm. Becoming the anchor in the middle of life. One of the most valuable traits you can develop after 65 is a deep, unshakable sense of calm. The kind of calm that changes the energy of a room just by your presence. People breathe easier, the tension fades, and everything just feels safe. Now, let's be clear, this kind of calm isn't about pretending everything's fine or ignoring real problems. It's about being wise enough to know what actually matters, mature enough not to sweat the small stuff, and steady enough to stay grounded when life throws storms your way. As we age, we face more of life, loss, change, unexpected blows, and in those moments, people tend to split into 2 groups. Some become more anxious, more reactive, more fragile. But others, those who quietly become more precious than gold, they develop something powerful, inner balance. They don't yell when things go wrong. They don't turn every disagreement into a battle. They're the ones who look you in the eye when things fall apart and say, you're going to be okay. Think of someone like Frank. He's 74, a retired firefighter. He was never the loudest person in the room, never the one commanding attention. But people naturally gravitated toward him. Why? Because Frank carried peace. His voice was steady, his words thoughtful. When he listened, he truly listened. He didn't brush people off or rush them. His grandkids loved talking to him because around him they felt safe. His wife, even after all these years, still finds comfort in the way he handles life's ups and downs. And make no mistake, this kind of calm doesn't mean passivity. It means having the wisdom to know when to act and the grace to know when to let go. It's the quiet courage of realizing what's bothering me now probably won't even matter a year from today. The people who earn the deepest respect aren't the ones ruled by emotion. They pause before reacting. They choose silence when a fight isn't worth it. They don't go around trying to prove themselves because they already know their worth. These are the people others turn to in a crisis. Their presence alone feels like a steady hand on your shoulder. They bring peace, not through what they say, but simply through who they are. And here's the beauty of it. This calm doesn't just make others admire you. It transforms your own life. Your stress fades. Your relationships deepen. You start to see life with greater clarity. Because when your mind isn't caught in constant noise and reactivity, you can focus on what truly brings you joy. If you've ever known someone like this, you know how powerful it is to simply be near them. And if you begin to grow that calm within yourself, people will love you not for what you have, but for what you bring into their lives. Meet their quiet kind of peace. And that, my friend, that makes you quietly more precious than gold. 2. A curiosity that never fades. The true fuel of life. One of the biggest mistakes people make as they get older is believing that learning, discovering, and trying new things is only for the young. But here's the truth. The people who grow older and stay curious, they quietly become more precious than gold. They don't drift away from life. They keep asking questions. They stay open to new ideas, new perspectives, new ways of thinking. They don't cling to what's familiar just because it's comfortable. And they don't reject something new just because it feels different. Because curiosity doesn't just keep the mind alive, it keeps the soul awake. Those who remain curious continue to grow, shine, and evolve. They lean into new conversations. They pick up books outside their usual interests. They're not afraid to try new things or dive into new worlds. Instead of saying, well, that's how I've always seen it, they say, tell me more. They're open to learning, open to changing, open to becoming more than they were yesterday, because they understand something essential. Real youth has less to do with age and everything to do with a hunger to keep learning. Think of someone like Margaret. She's 76, a retired teacher. But instead of falling into repetitive routines, she fills her days with curiosity. She reads books by authors she's never heard of. She really listens when young people talk about their world. She doesn't just learn technology out of necessity, she embraces it because she wants to keep up with the world as it evolves. Talking to her is a joy. She's wise, yes, but she's also current. She's not stuck in the past. She's still in it, curious, thoughtful, fully engaged. Curiosity keeps you alive at any age. It stops your spirit from going stale. It turns everyday life into something fresh, something worth waking up for. And the best part, curious people don't just offer advice, they offer joy. They're fun to be around. They listen without judgment. They ask questions with genuine interest. They don't shut down new ideas. They bring a sense of wonder to the room. You know when you meet someone like this, their energy is unforgettable, because the truth is the people who lock themselves into narrow thinking too early often grow bitter and isolated. But the ones who keep learning, they stay young, relevant, and deeply valued. And here's the thing about curiosity, it doesn't naturally fade with time. Like a garden, it needs to be tended every single day. If you've ever known someone who still looks at the world with wide, fascinated eyes, then you know how special that is. And if you nurture that spark within yourself, you won't just watch life go by, you'll stay at the very heart of it. 3. The power of boundaries, quiet strength without guilt as we get older. 1. The most important skills we can learn is the ability to say no without guilt, without drama, and without apology. It's not about pushing people away. It's about finally realizing that protecting your time, energy, and peace is not selfish. It's necessary. Many people, especially later in life, fall into the trap of people pleasing. They say yes when they mean no. They tolerate disrespect out of habit. They give too much and ask for nothing in return. And over time, they pay the price. They feel tired, overlooked, and even invisible. Because when you ignore your own needs for too long, you start to lose sight of your worth. But here's the truth. Truly strong people aren't the ones who bend for everyone else. They're the ones who set clear, kind, and healthy boundaries and hold them with quiet confidence. Boundaries are not walls. They're lines drawn out of self-respect. They say backs is what I accept. This is what I don't. They're not about shutting people out. They're about finally letting yourself in. And when you do that, people notice. They respect you more. But more importantly, you start respecting yourself. Take Walter, for example. He's 73, a retired mechanic. For most of his life, he had a hard time saying no. If someone asked for help moving, he'd do it, even with a bad back. If a friend called every day just to vent, he'd listen, even when it drained him. If someone crossed the line, he'd stay quiet, just to avoid conflict. But one day, Walter asked himself a powerful question. Isn't my time just as valuable as theirs? That moment changed everything. Now, Walter still helps, but only when it feels right. He still listens. But he no longer becomes a dumping ground for other people's problems. He chooses to spend time with people who uplift him, not drain him. And most importantly, he doesn't feel guilty for protecting his peace. And guess what? Has happier, healthier, more respected than ever before. Because Walter discovered something many people never do. Every time you allow someone to cross a boundary, you teach them it's okay. But when you stand firm, when you say this is what I deserve, you start to attract people who actually respect you for it. The most powerful elders aren't the ones who try to please everyone. They're the ones who can say no with calm confidence, without needing to explain. They know their time matters, they know they deserve mutual respect, and they know that people who truly care will never push past their limits. And maybe the most beautiful part, setting boundaries doesn't just earn respect from others, it helps you reclaim the respect you lost for yourself. You stop feeling used, you stop feeling resentful, you stop feeling worn out. Instead, you become someone who owns their life, someone who leads with quiet strength, and someone who, without even trying, inspires others to do the same. 4. The warmth of presence, quiet strength that comforts. One of the rarest and most beautiful qualities a person can develop later in life is the ability to bring peace just by being there. This doesn't mean being the loudest person in the room. It doesn't mean constantly entertaining or always having something to say. It means being the kind of person who makes others feel safe, seen, and accepted exactly as they are. People don't want to be around you because of what you give them. They want to be near you because of who they become around you. That kind of presence, it's rare but unforgettable. These people don't need to speak loudly to be heard. They don't demand attention, but somehow when they're around, you notice, you feel it, you breathe a little easier. In a crowded room, your eyes search for them. Not because they take up space, but because their energy invites calm. They don't rush you. They don't judge. They don't expect you to be anything other than yourself. They listen not just to respond, but to truly understand. And when they speak, it's with a softness that goes straight to your heart. Think of someone like Helen. She's 75, a retired nurse, and she has this incredible gift. She makes everyone around her feel at home. She doesn't force conversations. She doesn't try to dominate the space, but wherever she is, people naturally gather around her because Helen brings peace. Her voice is gentle, her words are sincere, and when she listens, you know she really cares, not because she has to, because she wants to. That's why being around her feels so comforting. She isn't flashy, she doesn't try to stand out, but her warmth, it stays with you. Because people may forget what you said, but they never forget how you made them feel. And this kind of presence, it lives in a reassuring smile when someone feels unsure, in an I understand glance when words fall short, in the way someone quietly says, without ever saying it, I'm here with you. Here's the beautiful part, this warmth doesn't fade with age, it deepens. Because it's not about charm or charisma, it's about a lifetime of compassion, patience, and love, qualities that only grow richer with time. If you've ever known someone whose presence alone made everything feel okay, you know how rare that is. And if you feel even a spark of that quality within yourself, nurture it, let it shine, because the world is full of noise, rush, and coldness. But you can be the calm in the chaos, the warmth in the winter, and people won't love you for what you do. They'll love you for how you make them feel. 5. Finding joy in simplicity. A life enriched by the present moment. If you ask me the secret to a truly fulfilling, peaceful, and meaningful life, I'd say this: it's learning to see joy in the simple things. It's not about settling for less. It's not about pretending you don't want more. It's about realizing that true happiness isn't hiding in big dramatic moments. It's tucked away in the small quiet ones that most people overlook. After 65, gaining this kind of awareness doesn't just bring peace, it opens the door to a wiser, deeper kind of living. In today's fast, noisy world, most people miss the little things, but some, those rare, quietly golden souls, they see magic where others see nothing special. The first warm sip of coffee on a still morning, the sunlight gently touching your face, a deep belly laugh shared with old friends. Or that satisfying tiredness at the end of a day with nothing urgent on the calendar. People like Jack live for these moments. He's 80, a retired woodworker, not rich, not famous, but one of the most genuinely content people you'll ever meet. He doesn't wake up complaining about what's missing. He opens his eyes with gratitude for what he already has. When he walks, he notices the trees swaying in the wind. When he eats, he slows down and enjoys every bite. When he talks with old friends, he doesn't just hear them, he listens. He's not burdened by the past. He doesn't get lost in what ifs about the future. He's right here, right now. And that's exactly why people love being around him, because we feel that kind of peace. We recognize someone who's made peace with life, not by escaping it, but by embracing it. He's not chasing more. He's fully present with what already is, and in a world obsessed with next and better, that kind of presence is rare and beautiful. Jack's life whispers something to everyone around him. Sometimes, life is enough just as it is. Sadly, many people go the other way as they age. They fixate on what's missing. They drown in regrets. They compare their story to others until they forget how valuable it actually is. But here's the truth. People who find real joy don't spend their lives trying to fix everything. They don't waste their energy on things they can't change. They don't let small annoyances ruin the big picture. Instead, they choose joy over and over again. They're observant enough to find meaning in ordinary days, and wise enough to know those moments are what life is truly made of. No, this isn't some fairy tale. Life isn't always perfect, but training your mind to see the good in the everyday, that's a choice. Gratitude for what is, peace with what isn't. And the realization that true happiness doesn't come in grand celebrations, it's built slowly and quietly in the little steps we take every single day. 6. Unshakable self. Respect. The quiet power of standing tall self. Respect is one of those things you can't always see, but you can feel it in every word, every step, every quiet moment. A person who knows their worth doesn't need to shout it from the rooftops. There's no need for drama or proof, just a steady presence, a calm strength, and a quiet inner voice that says, I am enough. And after 65, there may be nothing more powerful you can carry. This is what makes someone truly irreplaceable. Not popularity, not approval, not performance. but an unwavering sense of inner value. In our younger years, we often care too much about what others think. We try to fit in, seek approval, chase love and praise. But with time comes clarity. And the people who grow into something quietly golden are the ones who finally realize my worth was never up for debate. They stop chasing applause. They stop wasting energy on people who never really saw them. And most importantly, they stop apologizing for simply being who they are. Think of someone like Barbara. She's 78, a retired librarian. For most of her life, she bent over backwards to please others. Her needs always came second, but over time, something changed. She began to understand that her happiness, her time, her peace, they mattered just as much as anyone else's. Now, she doesn't say yes when she means no. She no longer feels guilty for putting herself first, and she's no longer living according to what others expect or think. Because of that, people don't just like Barbara, they respect her. So what is self-respect really? It's not arrogance. It's not looking down on others. It's knowing your inner value and refusing to let anyone shrink it. It's setting clear standards for how you deserve to be treated and not lowering them just to keep others comfortable. It's being able to look in the mirror and say, I'm enough, just as I am. When you carry that feeling inside you, it shows in everything you do, the way you walk, the way you speak, the way you handle adversity. People with true self-respect don't beg for attention. They don't seek validation. They don't tolerate disrespect, but they also don't need to be loud about it. They move through life with quiet strength, and that strength radiates outward. Others can feel it. This person knows who they are. I better treat them accordingly. Sadly, many people begin to lose this as they age. They start to believe they're worth less simply because they're getting older. Well, I'm 'cause this. They were so like they should ask for less, speak up less, expect less. But the truth, age shouldn't weaken your self-respect, it should deepen it. Because with every passing year, you've gained something: more wisdom, more clarity, and the powerful realization that your worth was never based on anyone else's opinion. If these words resonate with you, if you believe in the quiet power of self-respect, drop a 6 in the comments. Let us know you're walking this path with us. Because here, we're building a space for people like you, people who've lived, learned, and are still growing in your voice. It keeps us inspired to keep creating, keep sharing, and keep lifting others up. Final thoughts. True value shines quietly. Before we wrap up, I want to ask you something. Take a moment to reflect on the 6 qualities we talked about today. They have nothing to do with wealth, fame, or chasing recognition. They go much deeper than that. They're about how you carry yourself, how you treat others, and how you choose to live each and every day. The people who become quietly more precious than gold aren't the ones stepping into the spotlight looking for applause. They're the ones who, over time, have grown wiser, kinder, and deeply aware of their own worth. And the beautiful part is these qualities don't fade with age. They grow stronger, but they don't just happen on their own. They take intention, they take choice. And most importantly, they take the courage to keep growing, evolving, and letting your light shine, no matter where you are in life. If even one of these qualities resonated with you today, or if you thought, I want more of this in my life, then you're already on the right path. Because these aren't just traits that make others value you, they're traits that help you value yourself. And one day, when you fully embrace who you are, you'll notice something powerful: respect, admiration, deep inner peace. They'll be walking beside you, quietly but surely. Now I want to hear from you. Which of these 6 qualities spoke to you the most? Are there any you've already been living, or one you're ready to focus on more? Share your thoughts in the comments. Reading your stories isn't just a joy, it's a true source of inspiration. Thank you so much for spending this time with us. If something in this video stayed with you, drop a comment and tell us what you took from it and how you plan to bring it into your life. Your voice makes this community stronger. Every comment gives us motivation to keep creating content that lifts people up. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button, subscribe, and share it with someone you care about. Your support helps us keep showing up for you. Thank you for watching. We'll see you in the next one. And remember, your quiet light brings more to this world than you know.